Hello, citizens of the planet. Welcome back to Monday Musings with Larry Lelli. And this week marks the end of our first rehearsal week at the Kennedy Center here in Washington, D.C. of the new production of Sideshow. And we had a wonderful week. We managed to put Act 1 up on its feet, which is an astounding accomplishment for a new production. You usually get 4 to 6 weeks of rehearsals, and in 1 week we managed to put up Act 1 and get through it. It's amazing, and it's because we have such a wonderful creative team and a wonderful cast. I really think this is going to be an amazing production. Anyway, so what am I doing here? What is my musing about this week? And I wanted to talk a little bit about why I'm involved in the rehearsal process this early on. And so what happens in the rehearsal room is they take the entire cast in a giant rehearsal room along with the entire creative team, which is the director, the choreographer, the music director or music supervisor, the dance arranger if that's a separate person, which in this case it's not. It's all our music supervisor is also our dance arranger. Who am I forgetting? The book writer and lyricist and the composer of the music, and then a piano player who happens to be our associate music director, and me playing drums. And my job in this process is, as they inch through each moment of the show, putting it together, okay, here's how the show is going to start, and the actor is going to be here, and the lighting is going to be like this, and the set is going to move in like this, and then they're going to start singing here, and the music's going to come in here, and blah, blah, blah. That's how we're getting through each moment of the show. When they get to any of the dance numbers, which there are a lot of in this show, because the show is what's called through composed for the most part, which means it's entirely sung or scored with music along the entire show. There are very few book scenes. A book scene is when there's no singing or music happening. It's just actors acting on stage in a scene. So there's not much of that. So I work and collaborate with the choreographer and the dance arranger / music supervisor to figure out what the drum parts are going to be. I'm basically making it up on the spot. I'm given a piece of paper with the piano music on it and the vocals, and then they say, okay, you figure out what to do. And so when there are very specific moments in the dancing, that's when I'm really needed to be there in the rooms, because I watch the choreographer teach the dancing steps or sequences to the dancers, and along with the music supervisor, and we try to figure out what the best music is going to be to support that particular dance sequence or those specific dance moves. For instance, the choreographer will say, okay, on beat 2 they're going to throw their hand up in the air, and then on beat 5 they're going to stick their hip out, and then on beat 8 they're going to kick. And so it's my job to take my experience of playing for dancers in musical productions and musical theater productions. What are the specific sounds and rhythms and grooves and timbres that we want to use to capture and best support the dancing during the song, within the song. And I work with both the choreographer and the music supervisor to figure out what that is. It's a very tricky thing, but it's also the most fun part of the process for me, because it's just so creative and so collaborative, and we're changing things up. It's all happening. It's organic. It's just living, breathing, and happening in the moment, and it changes from minute to minute to even hour by hour, and even maybe the next day they come back and say, you know what, we did that whole afternoon yesterday, forget it. We're going to start from scratch, and I want to re-envision the number completely. So it's a great thing, great fun time for me and the rest of the creative team to be in the room and do this. So anyway, that's my musing for this week. Tune in next week for probably more about Sideshow at the Kennedy Center. All right, see you next week.